Hey, folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly. We're back with another Chocklett Factory with the man himself, Blane Chocklett. Blane, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Just trying to stay out of trouble and stay cool. I imagine it's about the same up in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's been hot. No doubt about it.
Glad to not be on the water, I'm sure.
Yeah, past few days here has been pretty brutal and storms constantly. So definitely not dodging those storms every day.
Yeah, trying to figure out like where you're not going to get pelted by hail while you're on the side of the river, right?
Yep, electrocuted, all that good stuff. Waving a fly rod in the air. Good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so, it's been a minute. I think we probably caught up, I don't know, a few weeks, maybe a month on the other side of Tie Fest, but you've been pretty darn busy on the product front, travel front, and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, I've pretty much been on the road since mid-May, really since February. I think last time I spoke with you, I was heading up to TCO up in Boiling Springs and up at State College. Did some tying events there and got to see the team at both stores and got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time and shared everything game changer and taught some people how to tie the jerk changers and the craw changers. And it was a great event. It was a super good time. And after I left that, I had another event down in Tennessee with John down at Tailwaters, right there on the Holston. And it's got a great shop. So anybody in Tennessee that are around that area or going to fish the Holston or Watauga, they got to stop by his shop. He's got an unbelievable fly tying, basically shop. I mean, he's got a really nice fly tying area and he's doing it differently, right? And I really like that, thinking outside the box. And he's got a great coffee shop right next door and a really cool microbrewery and restaurant on the other side of him. And you could go hang out, have a coffee, or go get some tying stuff or flies or whatever, and then go next door and have a beer and eat some good food. Maybe see if there's any hatches going on the Holston. So I was impressed with that shop. It was nice.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. And if you don't want to fly fish, they got the bait shop next door too.
Yep. So we had a good event there. We had a private tying clinic for about 4 or 5 hours, and I saw some clients that I had not seen in probably 20 some years. And that was really cool catching up with those guys. And actually, when I say clients, a lot of them were people I've guided in the past, but several of them were just people that business people that would come in my fly shop back when I had a fly shop. And we're talking, mid 90s now, since I saw some of those people. And, it was good catching up with them. It's good to see that they're still in the fly fishing game and now currently retired and getting to fish more. And catching up with those people was great, and I was very appreciative for them to sign up for my class and, show them what I've been doing over the past 20 plus years since I've seen them, it was good. And then meeting new people. So John had a really good turnout. Really enjoyed that. And then after that, we went over, had lunch over at the grill / microbrewery. And a lot of the guides, after they got off the water, came up, guides I hadn't seen in years because I used to guide down in Tennessee a lot. So I hadn't been down there much and got to see quite a few people I hadn't seen in a while. And just catching up with them. And, it's kind of funny playing around with them a little bit, just talking about spots in places that a lot of people wouldn't know. They're like, well, how do you know about that? I'm like, well, I used to guide here, man, 20, 30 years ago. So it was just kind of fun doing that stuff. And then got to go to stay at my good buddy, Bob Cheers, had a shop in Bristol, who passed away a few years ago, was a great client and friend, and stay in touch with his sons that still have their store, Mountain Sports. And always cherished my time with Bob, and he has this great cabin right on the Holston, and it's just good memories being able to finish the day and then staying there that night and hanging out, and then headed back home so I could pack again to go to on another trip, which was down in North Carolina near the coast, doing a little bit of fishing, and got back from there. And I think I can't remember where I went, but I ended up going back down to the coastal North Carolina to one of my favorite places in the world, Cape Lookout, and got to spend time down there. Always try to do that every year. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and anywhere I've traveled. And then just back on the road again, doing more seminars and stuff. But it's kind of the same thing on that front, and then trying to manage the fly company and all that, and gearing up for the fall and hitting the road again, doing more seminars and stuff in Indianapolis and moving waters, and then going up to the Dakotas and going to do another fly tying event and presentation up at Dakota Angler. I'm looking forward to that, and then going to spend some time with my buddies and doing some pike fishing. So I'm looking forward to that. But more than anything, just keeping the train on the tracks like always. It's definitely no grass growing under my feet. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a faster, sleeker struggle bus, right?
It is. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I think we've moved forward a little bit. It's been a really uh, good. It's going to be an unbelievable second half of the year with my fly company. Uh, God's really blessed me, and I can't wait to share that with you all here coming up. So
Yeah, and so it's funny, right? So for kind of warm water folks who are thinking about smallmouth, you've got a bunch of, we'll just say they're not exclusively smallmouth patterns, but you've got, I don't know, a half a dozen new patterns coming out of the Chocklett Factory pretty soon.
yeah, we do. As a lot of people know, we came out with the fly tying side of the Chocklett Factory, and so all my silly skins and loco foams, and we've got new regular foam stuff that we're coming out. I've been searching for months and finding best foams for fly tying, and we've got that coming, and more body parts, and I've got so many things coming here in the next couple months, and I'm really looking forward to fly tying season because we're going to be launching all that stuff in September. More of the brush stuff and finally be more readily available. More body parts and whatnot, like for crabs and shrimp, and of course we have the craw changer parts and the hellgrammite changer parts, and we found some cool colors, and we'll be able to match the hatch a little bit better on some of those. And um, I'm super excited about some of the 3D printed stuff that we're doing, and can't wait to share that with the world here coming up. But we figured we wait to the fall to get that out because we have a lot of new flies that are going to be hitting the market. Not new to me, but it'll be new to the market, which I'm super excited about. We just got a new factory online, so we're going to be able to produce probably 10 times more than we've ever done. So we're going to be able to have more of our standard flies going, but we're going to have all the new stuff. So we had to expand, and we bit that bullet. So, with in between traveling this year from basically December till now, I've been sourcing out and working with this new tie-in, uh, basically the new Chocklett Factory, or the second Chocklett Factory, and training them and working with a consultant over there, and getting all that stuff going. And we finally, after having several iterations of samples coming back and forth, they're finally to, as you know, I'm not going to settle. They're going to be what I want my customers when out there fishing with me. I want people that buy my flies to be able to experience the flies that my customers fish with me on the boat. Right. So we've got those online. So, the hellgrammites are going to be coming up on the warm water front. The craw changers are coming. They're being tied right now. So we have thousands of flies that are going to be hitting here in the next couple weeks, like literally the next week to 2 weeks. We're going to have those flies coming. The newer bugger changers we got coming, which are great crossover flies for everything from fresh to salt, cold to warm water. And the craws are too. I mean, the craws, I've fished those all over the planet and caught several different species of saltwater fish as well as warm water species. So it's not a, you know, it's almost a one fly does all. I mean, you can imitate shrimp, you can imitate any type of crustacean with it really. And it's one of those things where I'm very excited for that one to hit the market because we have the body parts that go with it, the right sink rates, the fly swim, the way the claws work. It's almost like a soft plastic, so it's kind of got this paddle type of fleeing posture, and then it stands up in the water at rest, and has that porpoising swim that I love. Same with the hellgrammite. That it's got a jigging action, but it also has that realism. But the way it's designed, the way it goes through the water, it has that porpoising action, much like an insect would, or so it looks like a hellgrammite, swims like a hellgrammite, going to be a hellgrammite to the fish. So that one's going to be super cool. Um, Finally, the leech changers are going to be available as well, which will cross over. We'll have several sizes from real small to leeches that are about an inch long to leeches that are 3 inches long, and those are going to be great. I know that's a big deal in the cold water fisheries in the trout world, but it's also a great fly for warm water species too. So that's another one that's we've been trying to get that one going. And then staying on that cold water front, the nymph changers, those are being tied right now. I've got two different samples, waiting for the third sample to finally have them dialed in. And once that's done, those will be ready to roll. And we'll have those in several sizes to mimic anything from uh, stone flies to isonychias to any type of swimming nymphs to even going into the smaller mayflies. So we're going to have all kinds of sizes for it. And as I wrote in Fly Fisherman a couple years ago, that we in the trout world there hasn't been a lot of huge steps forward in recent years. In my opinion, so they've kind of it's kind of hard to invent something new there. But the one thing I've always said, and the way I do things, is that what's the main thing is with fish and the way they eat is it's realism. It's matching the hatch. But two, it's the movement, and that's where the Game Changer platform came from. And the one thing we've never had is that realistic fly with a realistic movement to it, and being able to put that changer platform on a lot of these nymphs. It's a big deal, and we'll offer them in a jig version and in a regular nymph version with just a regular bead head. So we're going to tackle all that, and I think the results will speak for themselves, and they'll be available here, like I said, in the next month or so. All this stuff is, I've been promising it, but sometimes things take a little bit of time because I'm not going to settle. And we've kind of got to that point where it's happening, and it's all happening at once. It's like the fire hose is full throttle right now, and we're just going to be coming out with new stuff and introducing it to the market. And I think everyone that's been a fan of the Chocklett Factory and that's supporting us, I think they'll be super happy with all the new stuff that we've got coming.
Yeah, and you got the moptail changer too coming out soon, and I know you really like that fly because you really like the swim on it.
I do. I mean, the mop that was in my book, and it basically, for those that don't understand it, when you add a little mop tail to the back of a Game Changer platform, it's like adding another two or three articulations. One the way it works is it adds weight in the back of the fly, but also having that mop, which I know has been very popular in the trout world and whatnot. The fact that it does suck up water, it does, when you start that Game Changer platform and the motion, it finishes on that tail, right? But it gives you an extra couple kicks, and it has even more swimming action in it. Burning it, stop and go, fishing it however the fish need to react to it. It's got a slimmer profile. One thing I've been going through with looking at the conventional world and looking at what realism and all that stuff is one thing you see in the conventional world is a lot of those lures, whether it's soft plastics or hard baits, is they have a very slim profile, and this fly has that. So the cool thing about it, it's slimmer. It can represent a bait fish. It could be a snake. It could be an eel. It could be anything. But the big thing is it's got a lot of triggering qualities, and we've talked about that in the past, and that's what it's all about. Attracting qualities. It's got the triggering qualities, and it's got, to me, it's more durable, right? And it's a fly that I think is going to be very popular in a lot of people's boxes. You know, when we came out with the finesse changers, especially with the Chocklett Factory, putting that realistic tail in there, um, you get more of that tighter swim, and you get that realism of having that profile with the real tail. But to me, you know, it's hard to beat the feathers. And then you put a mop on there, you get that extra swimming action, that slender profile. You're getting a little bit more of that. Like, it's a little easier to eat. It looks super swimmy, looks good. So it's got that triggering and attracting thing that I really, really like. And not taking anything away from the regular finesses, but when you look at them, right, it's, you got to look at the water that you fish and how the fish are reacting to stuff. And for me, you got to kind of change based on what the fish want, right? You know, super clear, low water, sometimes super realistic is going to be the key. And sometimes something that's got more movement and just has that just irresistible swimming action is what I like, right? So I like to make fish eat that are kind of neutral or even negative. And if you can get a fly that's got all that stuff in it, it's hard to go wrong on that.
Yeah, and if you weren't busy enough, you've got a hook coming out with Eric's, and you were involved in the development of a new TFO saltwater rod that dropped within, I don't know, the last week or two, right?
Yeah, the new Moment rod that we've been playing around with for past 6 8 months, at least, probably longer. Um, and I thought it was kind of a good name that they came out with the Moment, because, you know, that's what fly fishing's all about, is those moments on the water. And, you know, for me, I thought that was a great name, and I really like this rod. It's it's unique, and, you know, we've talked about it privately and got some articles coming out with fly fishermen that's going to highlight some of this stuff. But we've the Moment has been a very good luck charm for me. You know, I've been on a lot of trips earlier in the season where I had some moments, like two record sized fish. I'm not a record, even though I like catching giant fish. I've never been like record hunter, but I've caught two record sized fish this year on that series of rods. And to me, man, you know, that's a good sign. And it's handled these giant fish, and I'm talking big, as big as the species I was targeting get. Can't tell you everything because that'll kind of ruin it for fly fishermen, but they're as big as those species get. And the fact that I was using those prototypes from TFO and they handled everything perfectly, I'm super excited about them, and I think everybody out there will. You know, there's a little bit new technology in the way they're building the rods. You know, it's really helped it. It's made them lighter. It's made them faster. It's made them more responsive, and, you know, you could you could kind of go on their website now. I think they've let the cat out of the bag, but you can read a little bit about them. I think people, they're looking for a new rod. I think that rod series is, if not the best rod we've ever come out with. I think it is. It just kind of hits all those points, right? It does everything you need it to do, and it's been great. I really enjoy it. It's, like I said, it's got good mojo, and it's had great mojo on all the trips I've been on. You know, like I said, catching two different species record size is pretty special.
Very, very neat. Where does it sort of fit in the universe of the, TFO's other saltwater rods? I mean, what was it designed specifically to do?
Well, to be honest, it's going to be, it's more of an updated version um, of the rod that Flip and I came worked on for, I guess, I don't know how long it's been now, but it's probably been almost 10 years ago, right? So the A2X, it's kind of an updated version of that, and, you know, we've got some new stuff on it that makes it, like I said, makes it faster than that rod. It's recovers better. You know, you know, for me, it's kind of one of those rods where, you know, you get these super fast rods out there that's not for everyone. I think this rod kind of fits into that, where I think this rod, it kind of kept the tradition of TFO, where it's a rod that anybody can pick up and cast well, you know, so they didn't get it too fast, but it's faster. Um, and it's got more butt to it. So it kind of falls into a lot of the check the box stuff, right? So um, some of this technology, talking with Nick, we're probably, when my rod comes up to be redone, we're going to use a lot of this technology on that. So we'll see what happens in the future. But now that, I mean, this rod is done a lot of good things, and it handles big flies well, handles sinking lines well, intermediates, floating lines. It's accurate. Like I said, it's quick and it recovers quickly. Um, and you can put the heat on them and stop giant fish. So I think, I'm still getting chance to try some of the different line sizes, right? So, but so far so good with them. I've really enjoyed them.
Very, very neat. So tell me a little bit about the hook you've got coming out with Eric's.
Yeah. So the Arex hooks, I've been working with Mo over there at Arex, and we've been trying to get this hook thing going for a while. And my whole concept on it is, I don't want to get too much away, but we've always been working with different hooks on the Game Changer platform to make them work for what we're trying to do. And I told him that, and a lot of times, the hook diameter's too thick, and the gap's not big enough, and they're not strong enough for this or whatever, or they're too heavy, so all those things are problems when you're designing flies and you want them for specific things. And for my platform, and for any, really, the way this thing's going to end up, and I got the latest samples on them, and I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be testing the strength and stuff on it. And, I've just sent some up to my buddy, Larry Dahlberg, and he's got one of these professional hook testing deals. And, and he's going to give his input. I always cherish what Dahlberg's got to say. And, I'm super excited about it. So we'll test this latest sample out, tie some flies on it, get it out there in some big fish, hopefully, and put the heat on them. And I'll share a couple of these hooks with some friends across the country and let them do some testing for me as well. And hopefully within the next month or two, I'll get to give them the go ahead, and we'll have these ready. And the cool thing about it is they're going to have the hook gap that we want, the strength that we want, um, uh, the diameter that we want for good penetration without compromising strength. So there's all these little, check this box off, check this box off. And I'm wanting to treat it just like I do my flies. So, we're working on that, but we're not going to let it go until I'm satisfied. And that's why we're going to be, research and development and get it out there. I'll be going down to the Bay here in the next month or so, in between uh, work trips or seminar trips, and testing them on cobia, doing some tarpon stuff, doing some giant red fishing and whatnot. So we're going to put it to the test and see how they do, and max out some drags and fly lines and rods, and try to break the hook, see what happens. And so that's part of the process, right? So you might get the gap size you want, you might get the length of the shank that you want, and you get the diameters of it, but they may not all three together, right? So that's part of that process. And coming out with the game changer hooks with ARX is going to be amazing. I think. I mean, it's cool to have a hook under your name, and working with Bose, I think, is an amazing person, and the whole team over at ARX. They're great people, and reliable and honest, and that's what it's all about. And that's what I've always wanted to be with, teaming up with all these great companies I've worked with and sponsor me and help me out through these years. And it's all about that, creating relationships, trust, more family oriented, right, and like minded. So this hook is going to be great. It's going to be unique because the biggest problem in fly tying is, I have this concept with it, and I don't want to give too much away, but one of the biggest problems, very similar to the way fly lines and rods work. I mean, no line is equal depending on manufacturer and stuff. And, a one-aught hook from each company is not equal, right? So if you have a one-aught hook for a fly, it may not be the same for X brand as is for this brand. And for me, the way we're going to try to attack that is put it more like shank length and shank gap. right? From the point of the hook to the to where the shank, at the top of the shank, and be able to have them in millimeters, so people understand what they're buying. And for me, I put it in the system with the Game Changer platform, but the way the hooks look and the way the platform, just being a tire my whole life, and knowing Bobby Popovics and Lefty and Klauser and Dahlberg and all these guys, and knowing what fits on a hook and different, every hook's not equal, right? And the way this is going to work is we're going to sell them in millimeters. Like example, like if you're using a 15 millimeter shank, we'll have a hook that's going to be equal to that with the right gap for the right materials that you're putting on it, kind of a deal. So, well, that'll be explained when you go to buy the hook. Instead of seeing 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, size 1, whatever, it's going to be this shank millimeter and this gap millimeter, right? So it'll be a lot more easier for people to understand and know what they want, and all that for the style fly, even if they don't have them in the shops that near them. And if they're ordering online, it's going to make it easier for them to decide what hook's going to work for the fly that they're using, whether it's a Game Changer or a deceiver or a beast fly or whatever, right? So that in short, not giving it too much away, but I don't want to let that cat out of the bag, but I'm super excited about it. And I know Mo is, and the whole AREX team. And I think the shops that I've told and talked to about it, they're excited about it as well. And it's just going to make the whole tying platform better and easier for all of us.
Well, very, very cool. So you've been slightly busy. If folks want to keep track of, your adventures on the road, at the Vice, Chocklett Factory, all that kind of good stuff, where should they go?
They can hit me up on Instagram, message me there. You can always email me. We're going to have a new email address and got a new website we're working on. But right now, you can just email me at bchocklett@comcast.net, or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever at this point. And Blane Chocklett Fishing. You can reach me there. You could always reach out on our website that we have right now. So those are kind of the ways, and you can send smoke signals, whatever you want. So.
Well, there you go. Well, we both were doing the family thing over the 4th, so we didn't get to catch up, but hopefully our paths will cross maybe Labor Day. I'll be back in the Old Dominion.
Yep. Hope to see you, catch up, and maybe grill something.
Yeah, there you go. We'll do the reverse sear on the Traeger, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, folks, as I say this time of year, first of all, stay cool, but you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Blane.
Thanks, you too.